You are now listening to Season 3 of the VMX Show. And welcome to the VMX Show. Yeah, this is Season 3, Episode 9. Getting near the ass end of it. There you go. Started off with a little Lufia. That was from Lufia, Curse of the Sinistrals. The name of the song is The One Who Saves the Earth. And then in parentheses it says, For the Savior. I love when songs do that. And then in parentheses it says, Till the Break of Dawn. Of course, Lufia, Curse of the Sinistrals on the DS. That's the remake of Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinistrals on the Super NES, which I'm currently playing through on the YouTube channel. So, check that out if you haven't already. Lots of great jokes, lots of fun. Got a lot. I have an insane amount of show to get through. I have a lot of news. I have a great interview that I did with, I forgot his name. It must have been not so great, right? No. Matthew. Matthew came by. He's from England, so he stayed up really, really late to be on the show. So that's kind of a big deal. Great interview coming up. I got your questions and comments right now. Let's get to it. First we have Cubba Vubbin says, Necro, I figured that you might be a good person to ask about this since you like the Doom games, and you might be familiar with what's available in terms of user-created WADs and such. Basically, do you know whether or not the WADs of the console versions of the game are available anywhere? I'm specifically trying to find the Saturn version WADs for both the Japanese and US versions, in case there's any difference between the two, as I suspect there are. Okay, it may seem kind of confusing what he's asking, but if you know Doom, what he's asking, WADs are basically files that are user-created content for Doom 1 and 2 engines, and he's asking if there's any WADs that imitate console versions. Personally, there's so much great user-created content out there, WADs like Hell Revealed and Scythe and Threshold of Pain and Absolution. Well, that will, I'm going to get to Absolution in a second. I don't know why you would want basically clones of the same game, because you need the actual Doom 1 and 2 games to play these, just slightly different. Somebody recently recreated the PlayStation version, but I don't know what that WAD's called. And of course, Doom 64 was ported to PC using the Doomsday engine, and that was a total conversion known as the Absolution. But I would just, I would look into, go online and search for people's top 10 WADs, I like the really, really difficult, crazy ones, like Hell Revealed is one of my all-time favorites, Deus Vult and Deus Vult 2. I think the first one was a little bit better. But Yeah, those might be a little too difficult if you're not like an expert doomer. You might want to go for something like Scythe. Scythe is really good. Chris Collette222 says, "Hey Necro, I was going to comment on episode 8 on this season, and YouTube is being a pain." Yeah, that's true. There was a day where you couldn't make comments, and some of the videos weren't showing up. Seems to all be fixed. They were implementing new changes and fixing some things, and it all gets clusterfucked in the interim. But thanks for the song, and if it's all right, I wish I could be back on the last episode of the season, if that's all right with you, man. I don't have the same guest twice in a season because I feel it's repetitive. So you could come back next season if you want, but not this season because you're already on this season. Give some other people a chance. Sammy Boy 798 asks if I ever tried a WonderSwan emulator. Yeah, I have actually, and I've been thinking about implementing that into the list of systems I take requests for. But who's really gonna? What are they gonna request? Final Fantasy? I mean. And that's what when the remake of Final Fantasy came out, that was like the first time that it got the graphical overhaul, and the PlayStation version was long off. So I was of course playing it in Japanese, but I mean I know the game. It's not like I need to know what they're saying. So yeah, I have played it. It wasn't emulated very well, but then again, that was years ago. That was like when Final Fantasy first came out for WonderSwan Color. So who knows if it's improved. Dave Cornfan says, "Hey Necro, what do you think of James Rolfe's new show, Overanalyzers? I think it's great. It's really well shot and edited, considering it's just a people sitting in a room talking shit. Lol." Yeah, I enjoyed it. I was going a little crazy because in the first episode they were discussing the bat poles, like Batman and Robin go down. Well, Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson go down the poles, and then when they, it cuts to the Batcave and they're Batman and Robin coming down the poles. And I think they actually they were trying to explain how that happens and overanalyzing it, which is very funny. But I don't know if it was a great topic because anybody who has seen the Batman movie in 1966, they kind of showed how it happens in the movie. So I wish they would have brought that up because then that was really illogical and weird and everything, and they could have overanalyzed the movie a little bit. But I thought it was a great show. I thought that Mike Matei really kind of carried a lot of it. Like James's job was just come in, ask the question, and sort of move things along. But most of the discussion was coming from Mike Matei, so I felt that he was like the best one there, and that the other two, the girl and that weird looking guy, they need to like step it up a little bit, talk more. Mr. Lover of Ganja says, "In a vid about books and things that you're into, you said you like sci-fi, so I was wondering if you like the Dune series." Never read the Dune series or seen any of the movies or anything. So, I mean, I'm kind of, I know the plot, I'm familiar with it, but I just never read it. Let's see. God Savant says, "I just heard a rumor somewhere that Capcom is planning to release an arcade edition of Super Street Fighter 4 on consoles as a standalone disc again." I talked about this on the show. I already talked about it. It's not a rumor. I do have a news story where I'm going to be talking about that a little bit for this episode, so we'll get to that. But yeah, that's not I already talked about that, so I don't know. Are you listening to the show? Let's move on. Let's see. I got more questions and comments here. Cobra DVS says, "Hey, thanks again for answering my question, so I guess I'll ask another and hope you answer it. Do you enjoy the Super NES or Genesis more? I used to like the Super NES, but the Genesis has been grabbing my attention much more lately. What do you think the strengths and the weaknesses are of the consoles? Thanks again, great show." The Super NES, by far, I think it's the best system of the era. I think it's one of the best systems of all time. The Genesis was great, but couldn't keep up with it. I mean, the Super NES, it had the better graphics, it had the better sound chip, it had the better library, it had the better games. The Genesis had a few like really cool, unique games that you could only find there, like the first Rocket Knight Adventure, and Sparkster too, because the Super NES version of Sparkster was a completely different game. There was Castlevania Bloodlines, there was of course the Sonic games, there was Ristar. Ristar is a very underrated and unusual game. So yeah. Dark Phil Pick. I'm sorry. Oh no, it's not. What the hell? Dark Hill Pick. Okay, Dark Hill Pick 28 asks, "What's my favorite decade of Saturday Night Live?" The 90s. The 90s. That's when I started watching it, and you had such a great cast. You had Adam Sandler and David Spade and Chris Farley and Kevin Nealon And towards the end, you had you had some really cool. You had Tim Meadows. He was there for like the whole '90s and for a while. He was there for a long time. But you had what's that guy from 30 Rock? Yeah, him. Tracy Morgan, and you had what's that fucking guy? Oh shit, now Norm Macdonald. You know, I mean, there were some really amazing people there towards the end and towards the beginning. So I think the '90s definitely. Amaranthus616 says, I don't record with my capture card, but I just get my... Why do I care about this? I just asked how much it costs. Let's see. Let me read it anyway. I don't record with my capture card, but just get the image on my PC. I use a cheap Dazzle one and record with Fraps. Then I gather the files it makes and puts them into Camtasia and render from there. Reduces file size quite a lot. A 5-minute clip from Fraps would be like 3 gigs. That's why I don't use Fraps. I use Hypercam. Then I put it in Camtasia and get it to 20 megs without any noticeable quality loss. Or if I wanted, I can make it HD, and the file size would be like 100 megs or so, but longer times and bigger files indeed. Also, to comment on a minor thing mentioned in your interview, GTA 1 wasn't just set in Liberty City. It had Vice City and San Andreas in it too. And GTA 2 was Anywhere City, and GTA 1 had 2 expansions based on London, so not all numbered GTAs were just in Liberty City. See, I knew it. I knew they were making it up as they go along. So I guess that comment's really kind of directed more at Chris Collett. So yeah, I agree with you, Necro. They just make it up as they go along with the names. The next GTA might be 5 or insert city name here. One thing is, I really hope it isn't a remade city. I'd like a totally new place to visit. Okay, I knew it. SJS Arm. I'm sorry. Oh wow, what a name. SJS Arnmut1 says Activision do sell well. Of course, referring to the top 10 grossing games of all time. But you could see the games from Activision that you mentioned all had some peripheral that made it pricey, like the Guitar Hero guitar, the Modern Warfare 2 goggles, and the Black Ops car. Well, yeah, I mentioned that. You didn't really add much there, but thanks for your comment. Nettlebuck says, great show, Necro. Have you ever played No More Heroes games on the Wii? If not, I definitely recommend them. No, I haven't managed to actually get a copy of those, but No More Heroes, but I do plan on it. Dave Cornfan again, great episode, man. You were talking about subs for subs. I have to agree with you. It's bullshit. I don't get why people want so many subs. In fact, I got a PM once from someone once said that if I pay them, they will get people to subscribe to me daily. What the fuck? You have to be sad to pay people to subscribe to you. I haven't got a 3DS yet. Oh, let me. He's changing the subject. Let me comment on that. You're absolutely right. That's sick. I had this one guy. Let's tell a quick story here, and I do have to make it quick because I got so much show. But this one guy once, he made like a network or something on YouTube, and he wanted me to actually submit content to him and everything, and I'm reading this and I'm like, it was a whole lot of, double speak and nonsense, so I had to ask him, what are you talking about? Just get to, if you're making an offer, try and be as clear and concise as possible. Don't give me all this mumbo-jumbo. So eventually what it was, he wanted me to make content for his channel, and I said, what would I do that for? What's in it for me, And he said, he was basically saying that if I did that he would get me more subscribers, which is bullshit because it would get him more subscribers, not me. So I looked at his channel and he had like 5 subscribers. It was a joke, and I said, dude, you gotta get people on your channel before you go offering to help others get subscribers. And there was another guy who he made like a quick 10-second video response to one of my videos, and it was like the most ridiculous thing ever. And I just couldn't believe how stupid it was. And I went to his channel, and it was like, I'm gonna get your channel noticed. All he does is reply to videos. He doesn't make anything original. He just replies to videos. And he's like, I get you noticed. And he had nobody subscribed to him, so I don't know who he was gonna get noticed. But I don't know about that sub for sub shit. Moving on, he says, I haven't got a 3DS yet because there isn't any games out yet that I want. I'm going to wait for something good to come out first. Is there any games you would recommend to look for on the 3DS? Well, we're all waiting for Kid Icarus Uprising and Zelda and Mario and all that. Right now, I mean, if you want to play Super Street Fighter 4, that's great, but I say, I have it for fucking 360 already, so I'm not going to get it again. I have it twice for 360. The regular one and the Super one. Now I'm going to get the Super 3D, and then the arcade one will come out, and it's like, oh, fuck you, man. But, yeah. My friend Brandy has a 3DS. She initially got it without any games, which was fine with her, because she just wanted to replace her old DS, which she had the old original model one, and it had broke. I guess her kid broke it, I think. And, then she went out and she did get a 3DS game. She got Samurai Warriors Chronicles, and she described it as utterly mindless but insanely fun. So maybe you want to check that out. Razoreth92 asks what I think of Marilyn Manson. I think he's an idiot. Okay, moving on. KMD Baby. Well, actually, all right. I do want to make it quick, but yeah, I think Marilyn Manson is just a guy who's looking for attention. I think I've seen interviews with him. He's very intelligent and well spoken, and he has a lot of good points. But I have zero interest in his music or listening to him or anything like that. So there you go. A little more detailed thing. He's not an idiot. I just think his music is for idiots. I don't understand how anybody could listen to that. I listen to a lot of like heavy metal stuff, and Marilyn Manson to me is completely unlistenable. KMD Baby says, how long does it approximately take for you to put together episodes of the VMX show, Hey Assholes, and Urban Legends of Video Gaming? 3 different time frames. VMX show takes a while. That's why I do it on Sundays, because there's really nothing else to do, and I generally record it like in the morning and put it together, and that takes about an hour and a half or so. And then the encoding, I'll like go do something else while it's encoding, and then I gotta upload it both to YouTube and to my own server and set up the RSS feeds, and and I don't spend all day like working on it, but it does take like all day. Like basically, like encoding takes forever, so I'll go do other shit, and then I'll come back and the encoding will be done, and then I'll set it to upload to YouTube and to my server, and then I'll walk away, and that takes like a few hours for both of them to upload. And then I set up the RSS. So it's a long process for VMX show, but thankfully I don't have to be there for most of it. Hey Assholes is really quick. I usually write it like a few days before, and that takes like 10 minutes. I type very fast, and I'm a quick thinker. So, and then I just record it into the mic, and the video, it takes like 3 seconds to make because it's just a logo. And, I mean, I do have to open like Photoshop and like add the title in, but I have like a template, and it's very easy. I try to make these things as easy as possible on myself, and then it's just the encoding and uploading, which I don't have to be there for. And Urban Legends is more time consuming than that, because I have to like put together all the pictures and everything. So that's why I don't do it every week. I do it like when I have a free afternoon and I can sit there browsing through like Google image search and looking for funny pictures and such. So that takes a few hours. Mr. Lover of Ganja asked if do you like Weird Al, and what is my favorite of his songs? I did like Weird Al. I think my favorite of his songs was Trapped at the Drive-Thru. That was spot on. And finally, Joe X90 asked if I like Zelda 2. You must be new to the channel. I love Zelda 2. I did a whole playthrough of it way back when I didn't even have a controller for PC, so I was playing on keyboard. Imagine that. Oh, God. If there's any game that I've already played through that I would do again, it would be Zelda 2, because I play it much better with a controller. But don't know if that's gonna happen. Maybe I'll do it like a all-in-one thing, like I did with Super Mario Brothers 2. Who knows? But those are your questions and comments. I got a lot of show here. Let's get to the news. Oh my God! I just kind of like clicked onto Facebook here, and I see like that D6 guy, he posts about him having the shits for a month. Sorry, I just started laughing at that. Let's get to the news. So this first news story, oh man, I swear, I'm so glad that this didn't fall on April 1st, because everybody would have accused me of making it up. Duke Nukem Forever has been delayed again. To be fair, this is the first delay from Gearbox, but yeah, it's a delay. It was supposed to come out May 3rd. Now they're saying it's just delayed. We don't have an actual release date for Duke Nukem Forever right now. Some people are saying that it's coming out sometime in June, which would not be a huge delay. But you're probably wondering, what's their excuse? Well, their excuse seems to be that it just isn't ready. Despite there being everybody said, it's definitely coming out May 3rd. There's a demo. It was a demo back then. There was a demo. There was a trailer. All that shit existed in 1998. I mean, it didn't look as good, but I love that it got delayed. I think it's so funny. So this is the beginning of the end, as far as I'm concerned. I'm just trying to see if I can find the release date. Yeah, they're saying June 10th right now for the international market and June 14th for North America. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. The full roster of the new Mortal Kombat game has been revealed. Mortal Kombat fan site MortalKombatUnited.com revealed that the full lineup is, here we go, Scorpion, Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Sub-Zero, Sindel, Ermac, Reptile, Kitana, Johnny Cage, Jade, Melina, Nightwolf, Cyrax, Noob Saibot, Smoke, Sector, Sonya, listen to me. Sonya, my cursor was over the A and I was just reading. It's Sonya, Jax, Kano, Stryker, Shang Tsung, Baraka, Cabal, Raiden, Shiva, and Quan Chi. Interestingly enough, of course, this is a reimagining, I should say, of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. Quan Chi being the only character from Mortal Kombat 4 to appear there. And of course we know that Kratos from the God of War series will be exclusive to the PlayStation 3 version and only in Versus mode. Also in a related story, the first DLC characters for Mortal Kombat are released. Ken Shi, who first appeared in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, will be a downloadable character. And also Scarlet, who is a brand new character who was only rumored previously, is appearing as a downloadable character, downloadable content character. Ed Boon has claimed these characters are not already on the disc. They will have to be downloaded. So that's what's going on with that. But hey, pretty cool, pretty cool. Definitely looking forward to Mortal Kombat. Let's talk about Street Fighter. Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. If you remember last week I reported that Evil Ryu had been added to the game. Also Shin Akuma has been added to the game, and they're once again talking about bringing this to consoles. Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 will see some sort of version of Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. Originally, it was planned as a downloadable content, but now they're saying it might be a disc. That's what they said last week. Well, now they're saying, well, they're not sure. They're not. They said that April 6th they'll be having their Captivate event. So they think that we'll see some sort of announcement then as to when console gamers will get all the buffs, debuffs, Yun Yang, Shin Akuma, and Evil Ryu. So, will it be DLC? Will it be a standalone disc? What's happening with that? If it's a standalone disc, what will the price be? So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. More Capcom news. Here's news on the new Resident Evil game, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. I just mentioned it last week. Now I have some actual news about it. I said that it took place around the same time as the first Resident Evil game. Apparently, you're actually playing as Umbrella Security Services squad members. Characters are named Vector, Beltway, Bertha, and Spectre. Your mission is to destroy evidence, kill survivors, make sure that you yourself survive, and clearing your name before you escape. So basically, you're playing as the bad guys. This will come out sometime next winter. Here's a sad story. I hate to do stories like this, but it is a cautionary tale out there. And especially, I think this hurts the industry majorly. A 20-year-old man has been arrested. He's suspected of allegedly meeting girls between the ages of 11 and 14 through Xbox Live, and he's managed to actually meet them in real life. This happened when a junior high school girl brought a condom to school, and she said that she got it from someone on Xbox Live. He also apparently picked up two girls and drove them to a strip club. They didn't go inside, and he also apparently brought sex toys for them. That's terrifying. Be careful. I know I have a lot of younger viewers. I have viewers who are teenagers. I don't know how many teenage girls, but If you're out there listening and you're a teenager, be careful on Xbox Live. Be careful on the internet in general. Don't agree to meet anybody that you don't know. You never know what's going to happen. He's been charged with attempting to accost children for immoral purposes. Apparently he hadn't actually done anything sexual with them, which is a relief. But obviously he's done a lot of illegal things here. So I hate to say it because it involved Xbox Live. Be careful on there. You don't know who anybody is. So there's that. Here's better news. Crackle. You guys know Crackle. They're sort of like a Hulu or a Netflix. They're on YouTube. They have full movies, shows, that kind of things. They're coming to PlayStation 3. So if you didn't have enough streaming video options already with Hulu and Netflix, now you can also get Crackle on your PlayStation 3. And I assume that Crackle will probably come to Xbox 360 and Wii also, trying to compete with Hulu and Netflix. If they're smart, they'll do that. Atari is going to remake one of their 80s classics. Warlords is getting a remake coming out for PlayStation Network and Xbox Live Arcade. It has updated graphics and gameplay, of course. If you haven't played Warlords, it's sort of like a mixture of a pinball game and like a breakout game and like a fantasy game. So there's several different modes, all sorts of things coming to PlayStation Network and Xbox Live Arcade, coming out this summer. This one's a rumor. This is not confirmed, but it looks like a distributor for Nintendo's Spanish division has leaked the release dates for many of the 3DS games that all we know is they're coming out soon. Of course, since this is coming out of Spain, these are European release dates, but usually things come out in Europe pretty close to North American releases. But this is unconfirmed, but here are the release dates as provided by this distributor. Raving Rabbids Travel in Time, that would already be out, says 1st of April. Puzzle Bobble Universe on the 22nd. James Norris' Hollywood Crimes on the 6th of May. Also Driver Renegade and Resident Evil Mercenaries on that date. And Kid Icarus Uprising and Star Fox 64. On the 27th of May would be Dead or Alive Dimensions. On June 3rd, Sports Island. On June 17th, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And also on that date, Naruto game, Naruto Shippuden Nin Ritai Ameki Saikyo Ninkai Kessen, which I assume would have a different name in Spain. Not confirmed, but that's what's going on. More Nintendo news. Reggie Fils-Aime says that the next console after the Wii will not be in 3D. This is a quote from Reggie. "We've not said publicly what the next thing for us will be in the home console space, but based on what we've learned on 3D, likely that won't be it. I think at Nintendo we realized that any sort of goggle-type 3D technology was not going to work." That's coming from Hideki Kono, actually. "In order to make 3D technology viable with video games, we thought we needed to have glasses-free 3D." So they don't want to do anything with goggles, which I think is smart. So they're keeping 3D handheld, glasses-free stuff on the 3DS. Speaking of the 3DS, I got all sorts of segues today, huh? Here's an interesting story. I guess it's a European, they're in the UK, a UK chain store by the name of Game, just Game, not very creative, but there you have it. They were apparently going to other stores, such as Tesco, buying 3DS consoles to boost their own stock and then selling them in their own store, I assume at a loss, as pre-owned. However, Tesco fired back saying, hey, they may be, buying them from us and reselling them, but they are inflating the price. Tesco was selling the 3DS for £175. Of course, like I said, this is in the UK, while it was £219 at Game. So, there you have a little drama with the British not developers, the British retailers. Speaking of developers, though, let's see, I was trying to segue, but it didn't work. Rovio, the CEO of Rovio made an ass out of himself. Peter Vesterbacka, he is the CEO of Rovio, who created the Angry Birds game. He made an asshole out of himself. basically Nintendo was saying something that I thought was actually very true, that low-price smartphone games degrade the value of the gaming industry. They degrade the value of games. And this guy fired back with, oh, well, Nintendo sells $49 pieces of plastic. What an idiot. Would you say Microsoft sells $60 pieces of plastic? I mean, that's like that's like saying that Toyota sells, $15,000 pieces of metal. It's a stupid comment. I just wanted to throw that out there. The Xbox 360 is getting a new disc format. Don't know what it's going to be called, but yeah, it's an updated disc format that is going to have improved privacy detection and an extra gigabyte of space. And from what I understand, they're looking for people to test it. So that's what's going on there. Since it's mostly, it's getting an extra gigabyte of space, but it seems mostly aimed at fighting piracy. So there is a little bit of a fire back from the hacking community. A noted 360 hacker by the name of Commodore Forever says, Microsoft will introduce Xbox G3. This will allow more AP checks, CVI checks, increase the disk size, and adds a new layer of protection issues, all in the 20,500 SDK. I'm sure that means something to somebody. He's ready for the challenge of figuring out the intricacies of the new piracy measure, even so far as telling them, bring it on. Well, you're never going to win against the hackers. It's a space race sort of thing. Oh, I got some sad news here for Mega Man fans. Mega Man Universe is canceled. That was announced last summer, and it was playable at the Tokyo Game Show. This was coming to Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network. It was going to be like a make-your-own Mega Man, kind of an answer to Little Big Planet, I guess. They're not doing it, unfortunately. The reasons, they say, various circumstances. We are still getting some Mega Man. Mega Man Legends 3 is coming out for the 3DS, but Mega Man Universe not coming out. Here's another rumor that I wanted to talk about. This one's already been debunked, so that's why I wanted to talk about it, really, because it's not true, and I don't want people repeating it. They're saying that the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 DLC roster was released over the internet, saying that on the Marvel side they would add Dr. Octopus, Juggernaut, Elektra, Apocalypse, Iceman, Thanos, and Ms. Marvel. And on the Capcom side it would be Frank West, Phoenix Wright, Mega Man X, Gene from God Hand, John Talbane, Strider, Hyrule, and Gale from Dino Crisis. But Capcom has come out and said, no, it's not true. Although, I might add that they once said that Sentinel would not be in the game, and he is. So, just throwing that out there. So, kind of two bad Capcom stories in a row. I have a good Capcom story. Well, not a Capcom story. For those of you who remember, I did report on Keiji Inafune, the creator of Mega Man, had left Capcom earlier this year, or maybe it was last year, I don't actually remember. But now he's not only creating a new company, he's creating two new companies. One is called Intercept. It's a video game production outfit that is located in Tokyo. And it is driven by Inafune's philosophy towards making games that are original, engaging, and timeless. The other company is called Concept, and this is also located in Tokyo. Their business strategy is planning, sales, and management of online games, mobile game development, event planning, book, video game, and music production, and pretty much anything to do with entertainment. So Inafune definitely moving forward after having resigned from his post in Capcom. I actually have some news about Dragon Quest X. This was announced way back in 2008, before Dragon Quest IX was even out. They were talking about Dragon Quest X, only saying that it was coming out for the Nintendo Wii, and we've heard nothing in the 3 years since they first announced it. Well, Yuji Horii spoke with Nintendo Power and said it's going well. This is a quote from him. "I feel that some users will want to play Dragon Quest on the big screen, which is why we're working towards releasing it on Wii. All we can say is that development is going well, and we're on the last parts of the game. We can't really share much else at this point, but by the end of this year, we should be able to announce something regarding it. And they said that this one will be taking cues from the system used in Dragon Quest VIII. So that was my favorite one, so that should work out well. And finally, Street Fighter III is coming to PlayStation Network and Xbox Live Arcade. This is called Street Fighter III Third Strike Online Edition. This was actually announced a while ago, but they never mentioned anything about it after that. And now we know that it is getting a graphical update, but the gameplay will remain the same. So there's not going to be any tweaks or rebalancing or anything, probably because the last version, Street Fighter III Fight for the Future, on arcade, Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, and Xbox was pretty much perfect, but they are updating the graphics, so we'll be seeing that. So that's it for the news. Man, just gotta plow through this. Let's get Matthew in here. And here we have Matthew calling me all the way from jolly old England, where everything is jolly and old. How you doing, Matthew?
I'm doing fine, Necro. How you doing?
Cheers, as they say several times in a sentence. And your YouTube channel is Guy Who Likes Games, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And tell me a little bit about your channel.
Well, my channel it's only got 90 videos. I'm doing game playthroughs and game requests, but no one's really subscribed enough to make requests yet. So I'm still open.
Well, it was like that when I started out, so I was just picking the games randomly.
Yeah.
What kind of games have you done so far?
So far, I've done some of my favourite games. I did Mega Man 2 first, because I liked Mega Man.
One.
Did it through on difficult. Then I decided to do Rocket Knight Adventures on hard.
Oh man, that one's even on regular difficulty. That one's a bit of a bitch.
It's that flying level on stage 6 that annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah, that like I said, even on a regular difficulty, that's a bitch and a half.
Yeah,
that's 1.5 bitches.
So what brings you to the show?
Well, I'm sorry. Say that again.
I wanted to talk. I wanted to go through Sparkster, but I'm getting nowhere through that one.
Oh, well, you know.
I'm in a constant loop.
So do you only do, like, full playthroughs?
No, I've got a couple of playthroughs that are in the middle of nowhere, where they've just finished, because I can't be bothered going back to them at the moment.
Okay, so what brings you here today?
Well, I want to talk about some genres that I feel have gone stale over the past few months and so, and some old games that appeal to me, even though I'm a young generation gamer.
And how old are you?
I'm only 18.
Only 18. You make me feel so fucking old.
Oh, boy.
I see. Now, when I was 18, I already felt old. So what does that tell you? I'm 30, and, I feel like I should be waving my cane and kids skateboarding on the sidewalk or some shit.
Oh, my dad probably feels the same as you. He's 46.
There you go. Man. So what do you think has become stale?
Just FPSs recently have just become about war. I'm sorry, but all the best games that people say, like Call of Duty, Crisis 2, that's just come out about war, Vanquish is about war. They're always about a war. So
are you you're looking for the return of first-person shooters with like more horror elements or fantastical elements, like or sci-fi, like like Doom and Quake and Heretic and stuff like that?
Yeah, stuff like that had really good play value. I recently managed to play my way all the way through Doom on Hyper-Violent, I think.
Ultra-Violent.
Ultra-Violent.
Yeah.
And it scared the shit out of me every time I saw them brown demons.
Now imagine that back when we considered those graphics to be good.
Yeah, I know.
Because when Doom came out, it was
still
like,
remember
this is the most realistic game ever. This is scary shit.
I still remember when I first got my Dreamcast and went and played on Sonic Adventure, going, "Oh my god, they can't get any better than this."
Yeah, well, you know, every time, every generation, we say that, like, how could they possibly make graphics better than this? And they always do it. They always do. Can you imagine some guy sitting there playing like the NES and just being like, "Oh man, it doesn't get better than this." Because we did that. We did that. You grow up on Atari and then you move on to the NES and it looks like amazing, and it's like, oh man, they can't make graphics better than this. So we've all been there.
Oh, and just think I'm only 18.
So yeah, you're right. The focus has definitely been on war and realism and I mean, I think that we all, like, when the World War II games started coming out, like the first Medal of Honors and the first Call of Duties, it was all very new and exciting. And
but it's just gone on for too long.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, even like the Wolfenstein stuff is about war, but that brings in, you know, like zombies and weird experiments and stuff like that. And I'd love to see more stuff like that.
The new Wolfenstein game that came out was actually quite good. Even though it was about a war, it still had mystical elements like the veil with his medallion.
Any other genres that you felt have become stale?
The Need for Speed genre has gone downhill.
Racing games, huh?
No, just the Need for Speed series. Oh,
just that series in particular, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, when you're coming, I think that they've pretty much perfected that. So it's like each new one, it's just going to be better graphics. How much more gameplay could you possibly add?
That's true. It's like, have you seen Forza Motorsport 4 when they're saying that apparently making that Kinect? How are they going to actually make that happen? Are you going to get pedals?
You know, maybe you just sit there waving your hands like you're pretending to hold a steering wheel. But I honestly, at that point, don't you get a douche chill? Don't you feel like a schmuck doing that?
Oh, it's just the only game that I felt like a schmuck playing over at my friend's house when I played Kinect was when I was playing Sonic Free Riders.
And
Never
what do you
again.
do in that? Well, like physically?
Oh, just no. It's not worth saying. It was. Just
you don't even want to tell me, do you?
No.
I'm trying to get the visual here, but it must be pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, well, yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's neither.
Well, just, you know, it could be worse. I mean, you know, imagine when all the inevitable sex games start coming out for that.
Oh, God.
I mean, do you read Penny Arcade at all?
No, I need to get into that. I saw the game for it, but I never...
Okay.
Continued after the demo.
They did a strip about Connect Sutra. Obviously not a real game, but give them a few years.
Give them a few years. That will
they
eventually
will make
come
a
out.
Connect Sutra.
Yeah. It'll probably be a quiz game, though.
Well, I mean, at that point, then what do you do? When you just, like, what do you say the answers? I mean, what, you know, you don't need Connect for that.
No, well, that's true. You just need a headset and a controller.
Yeah. Or maybe you just have to, like, you know, they tell you, okay, let's see a missionary, and then you got to get in that position. Now let's see reverse cowgirl. It's one of my favorites. But, yeah, no, I can't imagine sitting there with that Kinect not having any type of controller. Like, I mean, I know some people feel stupid playing the Wii or the Move, but it pales in comparison to the Kinect. You gotta feel like a schmuck doing that.
Yeah, the worst game that's come out on Kinect for me has been Dance Central. It is appalling.
And that's not even doing well. I mean, the Dance Central 2 on the Wii has been selling like crazy, and nobody's buying the Kinect version.
Not exactly. It's because when at least if you're holding something, you know that you're not doing it for no reason. It's strange. Kinect is you've got nothing there, and it's just off-putting.
Yeah, you're literally flailing in the breeze.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a fan of it. And you know, I have a friend, my friend Joe. He's got no hands, but he still plays games. He holds an Xbox controller between his knees and he plays with his stumps. And he thought that the Kinect was going to be kind of a big deal because it would enable him to play games better for someone who doesn't have like fingers. He wouldn't need to hold the controller, and it's going to be amazing. But the thing is, he's into games like, you know, Halo and Dragon Age and stuff like that. They don't have that kind of game for Kinect.
No, and they probably never will.
Yeah, no, never. Not implemented well. I mean, can you imagine playing a first-person shooter? What are you going to do? Make your like a finger gun and pew pew pew? Like you'd look like a fucking idiot.
That ought to give you some kind of plastic shelling.
Yeah, something, right? Something. But then that defeats the whole purpose of the Kinect.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. How about a first-person shooter where you just do pelvic thrusts at the TV? It reminds me of a Dilbert strip where they said to Wally, you know, you keep putting your ID badge in your pocket and then doing pelvic thrusts at the doors to open, and it's disturbing people. Will you please stop? And as he's walking away, he's thinking to himself, I didn't know the ID card opened it. So, you know. The power of the peen. Anything else that you feel has become stale? We got a little off topic there.
Nothing's really gone stale apart from Dynasty Warriors, because that's going over the same old, but...
Well, they're up to like 7 now, is it?
7's coming out over here in England on the 8th of April.
Wow. Ooh. That's weird. Because that's not even like a really old series, so they just came out bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. The worst one of that series is always Strike Force.
I've never played any of them, so I couldn't tell you.
Well. There was one game that came out in the series, I know you're going to like this, that I really enjoyed when I saw the ending of it.
Why is that?
Because it completely shocked me. It were Castlevania Lords of Shadow.
Oh, kind of like that? Now, we can't talk about that here.
No, I know we can't, so
yeah,
I'm not...
because I know for a fact there's people who listen to the show who have yet to beat it.
Yeah,
it's just amazing. Like, will you get through it already so we could talk about the ending?
It's a pretty
I'm
odd
gonna give a
one.
moratorium. The season premiere of season 4, I'm going to talk about it. So, you better be done by then, bitches.
Oh, I might go through it again just on the hardest difficulty, just to see.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing that myself, especially they got DLC coming out, and unfortunately, I have no way of accessing that unless I spend a ridiculous amount of money on a Wi-Fi adapter.
Ugh. See, that's unlucky.
Use Wi-Fi here, you know. There's no the modem is nowhere near the Xbox.
No.
Different wings of the house, so to speak. Never let it be said that we focus only on the negative here. What games are you playing now that you enjoy?
Well, right now, I started playing this because I watched your playthrough of it, but Lufia 2,
okay.
It is absolutely amazing.
Now, are you now? A lot of people, they do that and they quickly pass me because they're obviously playing it longer than a half-hour day. Are you past the point on that yet, or?
No, because I'm having too much fun in the ancient dungeon as soon as I unlocked it.
Oh yeah, that's fun. There's no way that I would do that for the playthrough though. It's too time consuming.
It is really time consuming. When I got to floor 20, I thought the game was actually lying to me when it said, "Oh, it's 20 floors below you." No, it's just a random number. I wasn't happy.
The game does. The guy does tell you that the escape wings are somewhere around the 20th. I think he says on the 20th floor, but I've actually run into it on like 35.
Oh bloody hell!
And sometimes I've gotten it on 18.
Wow.
So for those of you out there who don't know what we're talking about, the Ancient Dungeon is a 100 level dungeon that appears in many of the Lufia games. Rise of the Sinistrals was the first one that had it, and you start off at level 1 with no weapons or items,
which is annoying.
The game becomes a dungeon crawl, And the trick is to go through it, a couple of floors at a time, and then get out of there with a couple of the blue chest items,
Such as
which you
this
could
guy
take
sword
back
from
in
Maxim.
there. But to get out, you need an escape wing item, and the guy in the entrance tells you, "Oh, it's on the 20th floor." Not always.
Oh,
Not always. I've gotten it early. I've gotten it very late. So,
I've only actually got it once, and now we're on floor 23. And that's because I could only just about manage Decker to stay alive.
Okay. And using like Maxim, Selin, Guy, and Decker.
Yeah, so it's not really a good party.
No,
The
that's
speed side.
that's a great party for the Ancient Dungeon.
Yeah, mind you saying that, Fumi's
That's
annoying.
That's a great part. The only party betterment, if you could have like Maxim, Selin, Decker, and Arte, but
Who's the
by the
ended guy?
time Arte comes along, Decker's long gone. So
Ah,
but you could do it in gift mode. When you beat the game, it unlocks. I think it's called like replay mode or retry mode or some shit like that. And it's the same game, but you get double the experience and gold, so you can like blast through it really quickly. And if you do it on that, if you beat that, you get gift mode, which is just the Ancient Dungeon.
ooh.
But you could select any party and any capsule monster you want.
Now I see why people in walkthroughs were saying Tia.
They say to bring Tia?
There was one I read that went, bring a party of Maxim, Tia, Selin, and who was it? A muscle guy, so either Guy or Decker.
What? They're out of their minds. If you want a second mage, you bring along Lexus.
Lexus, right?
Yeah,
I'll
I
keep
haven't
that in
gotten to
mind.
that part. I actually, before we started this interview, I was just about to upload more parts, but YouTube was just not being fast today, so we'll
Is
wait.
it not?
No, it's being a bitch.
Oh, great. I'm going to have to wait for tomorrow then for Pokemon.
Well, after I'm not going to ask you to stay up that late, but but what else are you playing? Anything else? Anything on the modern systems that you've been playing recently?
Yeah, I've been playing Bulletstorm. I'm going through that on very hard at the moment.
Now, how is that?
It's fun first time you go through it. It's very sarcastic, the humour.
I heard there's a lot of dick jokes in that.
There is a very lot of dick jokes.
Yeah, I like dick jokes, so that's kind of, anything that involves a dick is funny to me for some reason. I mean, they're funny little things, like what, But I saw a compilation on YouTube of all the different dick jokes, and it's like stuff blowing up, and you hear a guy, "What the dick is that?" And I'm like, okay, that's funny. That's funny. Kind of stupid, but funny.
I think the best line I've come across in that is, right, is that the human part coming through? Is that the machine side liking the way I look in these pants?
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't even make any sense, but it is funny.
Oh, when you play the game, it makes sense.
Well, yeah, everything makes sense in context. But, unless it's David the Canoom. See, I'm referencing something that's in a Lufia videos I recorded earlier. By the time this show is out, everybody know what the hell I'm talking about.
There were one joke you said that no one will get, and it got stuck in my mind for about 3 days afterwards. It was like, dun 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 Taris.
Oh yeah, there's a reason nobody will get that, because it's an in joke.
Between you, the guy who's the butt of the joke, and
Yeah,
the
exactly,
person. Yeah.
exactly. Who I haven't talked to in like 13 years, thank fuck, because he was an annoying fuckhole. But there was this guy, Dantares, and he's gone through many names on the internet since then, so I don't even know what the fuck he's called now, if he's even still alive, because he was like 600 pounds or something.
Holy moly!
I mean, he was just ridiculously fat, and he was one of those like haughty like otaku that they think they're so superior to everybody. And we got like a bunch of us from that chat room. We all got on a not Skype, but like a precursor to Skype, like a voice chat thing.
Yeah.
And and he wouldn't talk. He came on. He just wanted to hear everybody else, but he refused to have his voice heard. So we started taunting him, and I started this thing with his name, Dantares, and then everybody started doing it.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And he was really mopey after that, but for months, anytime we got on a voice chat, you'd hear somebody even if he wasn't there, they'd say dun 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 dun. So yeah, there's no one that I know that would get that, because all those people, I don't talk to them anymore. That was like 13 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was all on the AOL 56K. You know, I mean, that was...
Dial-up.
Yeah, dial-up, exactly. That is ancient history now. Ancient history. Man. Those were the days.
I remember when this used to be all be fields. Oh, gold.
Oh, God. Well, it's actually funny, because where I live, when I first moved here, we were like the only people in the area, and it was like all woods, and now there's so many houses. I mean, I'm still like in the woods, but it's not nearly as empty as it used to be.
See,
so I could actually say that I remember when this was all trees, as far as the eye could see, and gas was only 99 cents a gallon.
Oh, bloody hell, that is going back some.
Well, that when I first moved up here in 1998, it was 99 cents a gallon.
Bloody hellfire.
Yeah, so now it's nearly $4. Thank you.
That's astounding. That.
Yeah.
No way to put that.
You know what's funny is that I remember when gas hit $2 a gallon, and everybody was panicking like it was the end of the world. Now we wish for those days.
Oh,
now when gas shoots up, nobody panics; they just bitch.
It's getting awful over here with inflation. People are panicking.
Yeah,
like
well,
mad.
You know, I would ask what it costs, but you guys use liters and pounds, so I wouldn't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, well,
because if it was just one thing that was different, I could probably figure it out. Because I know how much a liter is and I know how much a pound is, but both of them together, fuck it.
Yeah, it's stupid.
You know. Well, no, you know, you're not the stupid ones in this equation. I hate to say it because I do love the country that I live in and everything, but I was looking at this thing today, and it was like a map of the world, right?
Right.
With the countries that don't use the metric system lit up, and it was only 3 countries.
Wow.
It's America. I'm looking at it right now. It's America and what is that? Vietnam? No, that's not Vietnam. That's Myanmar and then Liberia.
Wow, and everyone else uses the metric system.
Yeah.
Holy moly!
Those are the 3 countries that don't use it.
Sheesh.
So, I think it's time to switch over, don't you?
I think it might be.
You know, let's not be the last ones to do it, America. I'm talking to America right now. Let's not be the last ones to do it. You know, let the people in Myanmar or Liberia be the last ones, not us. That's fucked up. I mean, I think in Liberia, I think they still have like tuberculosis and shit. They're like 100 years behind everyone else, but they have the metric system. What does that say?
That would make
Ridiculous.
no sense.
No, yeah. I mean, we get the best of everything except for our measurements.
Ugh.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why they don't want to do it. It's so much easier. And you know what's funny is we do have certain things that use it. Like when you buy soda, you get it in liters. But when you buy milk, it's in gallons.
That is...
So,
what?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, like, what's the fucking point, you know? Yeah.
Oh.
That's I don't understand it either. And that's not like a new thing. Ever since I was born, it's been like that. Soda comes in liters, and milk comes in like quarts and gallons. I'm not making this up.
You know,
I think they tested. I think they wanted to do it in the 80s, like they were going to switch over, but then like people felt like they were getting ripped off or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh.
I couldn't tell you what's going on here.
Then
I couldn't tell you. You know what's crazy is I bet you it was an American that came up with the metric system. Wouldn't that be ironic?
that would be very ironic.
I'm gonna look that up right now. I'm just gonna find out. It's either American or somebody from like Switzerland or something.
No, if it's Switzerland, we could be here all day trying to pronounce the name.
Oh no, I'm pretty good at stuff like that because I listen to a lot of death metal.
True.
Let's see, the metric system. Who came up with it? Oh, no. Oh, my God. France. Look at that.
Oh, my God, the French?
Yeah, in 1791. It's 2010. We still don't have it in this country.
Wow.
So, yeah, wow. This says that Burma doesn't use the metric system, but this is Wikipedia, so it could be wrong. Who knows?
Wiki, yeah. Wiki.
It doesn't mention that in Miramar or whatever the hell. I'd worry about insulting people, but I don't think I have many viewers from that part of the world. My Southeast Asian viewers will just have to deal with it, I guess. We got far off the topic of video games, and we're just about out of time. So before we go, is there anything else you wanted to say about gaming?
Yeah, I want the game developers, if there is any that listen to this, to stop
There
thinking,
aren't, but let's just say it anyway.
Stop going down the same path with every single game. Try and branch off a little bit. You can have it about...
Well, you know what it is? I want to comment on that because it's not the people who make the games, it's the people who fund the games that you got to talk to.
Ah, right, okay.
Because a lot of these developers want to do new things. They want to do... You know, like there are people that work for like Activision or Capcom or EA, and they want to do something original because they got into that business because they love video games and they want to make video games and they want to put their unique stamp on it. And then the higher ups are going to say, no, we want a new Call of Duty, or we want, Dragon Age 3, or we want this, or we want that.
Well, they need to stop limiting people because it's starting to get stale, and I'm only 18.
Yeah, no, it is, but, I think that you got to vote with your wallet, so to speak. Buy the independent games, buy the good games that maybe aren't those AAA titles, and, because as long as those sell, that's what you're going to see.
Mm.
That's what you're going to see. You're going to see, because I just did, I don't know if you heard last week's show, but I did like the top 10 highest grossing games of all time, and it was almost all Activision.
Oh my God!
It was 3 series mostly. It was Guitar Hero, it was Call of Duty, and it was one that is Nintendo's, the Wii stuff, like Wii Sports and Wii Play and all that. So
Wow, that astounds me. Activision have got their hands everywhere, though.
Yeah, and the EA stuff is on there.
Yeah.
Right now, I think the company that everybody's kind of keeping an eye on is BioWare because they've been so weird lately.
I'm looking forward to that Bioshock Infinite.
No, I'm talking about BioWare. Like they make Dragon Age, and they made Mass Effect. But they've been very controversial lately. And I'm also looking forward to Bioshock Infinite.
I'll play Bioshock 1 and 2. I can't wait for that installment.
One very last thing before we go, because I'm dying to talk about this. What do you think about Duke Nukem Forever being delayed again?
I don't really give a shit about Duke Nukem.
Good. I mean, I was a little excited by the trailer, but I'm like, I don't believe it until it's in my hands.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And then today I look at the news and it's like, Duke Nukem Forever delayed. Again.
Well, there was only one Duke Nukem I played in my life, and I weren't very good at it. So,
which one was that?
I don't know. I think it's Time to Kill, but it starts off when he walks in the strip bar.
That one sucked. Let me just put it this way, and this will be the last word on it.
Right.
When Duke Nukem Forever was the original release date, when it was originally supposed to come out, you were 5 years old.
That's almost as bad as Alan Wake.
Oh, it's far worse. It's been 14 years.
It's abysmal. But
it
then
was
again,
supposed to come out. Yeah, that's what can I say? It was supposed to come out in like late 1998 or 1999. I remember seeing the original trailer. People saying, "Oh, it's definitely coming out. It has a trailer now." I'm like, "Fucking dude, it had a trailer in 1998." So, all right, we gotta go. We're out of time here, but great talking to you. We'll definitely have to have you on the show again.
I'll be willing to do it again.
Definitely, had a lot of fun. And back to the show. VMX show, the show that's a little bit more than an hour. That's the way it's been. A little bit of Sonic the Hedgehog 4 for you there. Splash Hill Zone, I think it's called. Splash Hill Zone Act 1. It's the first level in the fucking game, so if you played Sonic 4, you know what it is. And if you haven't, that's what the music for it sounds like. Exactly like a Sonic game. Let's end the show, as we always do, with the sales figures of the week. So you know what's selling, what's not, what's hot, and what's pot. I don't know. That didn't work out too well. So here we have the American list we're going to do first. The American top 10 best-selling games for the week ending in March 26th. Let's see if we have the correct date this time around. The number one selling game, Pokemon, black and white version for the DS. That sold 341,380 copies. Number two, Crisis 2 on the Xbox 360 sold 237,989 copies. And number 3, Homefront for Xbox 360 sold 145,171 copies. And number 4, Crisis 2 for PlayStation 3 sold 120,853 copies. And number 5, Lego Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars for Wii sold 109,555 copies. And number 6, the old standby Wii Sports for the Wii sold 91,582 copies. At number 7, Lego Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars for the DS sold 79,432 copies. At number 8, Just Dance 2 for the Wii sold 73,588 copies. At number 9, Killzone 3 for the PlayStation 3 sold 70,555 copies. And at number 10, Lego Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars for Xbox 360 sold 70,025 copies. Moving on to the Japanese. This is of course, sales figures are lower, but it's starting to bounce back a little bit. But they have some major problems over there. Top 10 best-selling games in Japan for the week ending in March 27th. Number 1, Final Fantasy IV Complete Collection for PlayStation Portable sold 107,376 copies. And number 2, Shin Sengoku Musou 6, also known as Dynasty Warrior 7, for PlayStation 3 sold 37,397 copies. And number 3, Gundam the 3D Battle for 3DS sold 24,372 copies. And number 4, Dissidia Duodecim Final Fantasy for PSP sold 22,144 copies. And number 5, Layton Kyoju no Kiseki no Kamen, or Professor Layton and the Mask of Miracle, for the 3DS sold 16,526 copies. And number 6, Monster Hunter Portable 3rd, also known as Monster Hunter Freedom 3, for PlayStation Portable sold 16,035 copies. And number 7, Phantasy Star Portable 2 Infinity sold 14,033 copies. That's on the PSP. At number 8, Nintendogs Plus Cats on the 3DS sold 13,201 copies. At number 9, SD Gundam G Generation World for PSP sold 10,862 copies. And at number 10, Pocket Monsters Black White. That's Pokemon Black and White version. Still hanging in there for the DS, sold 9,866 copies. In Europe, the top-selling game was Pokemon Black and White version for the DS, sold 178,064 copies. And number 2, Crisis 2 for Xbox 360 sold 128,827 copies. Number 3, Crisis 2 on the PlayStation 3 sold 107,226 copies. And number 4, Homefront on the Xbox 360 sold 93,846 copies. And number 5, Homefront for PS3 sold 62,789 copies. And number 6, Crisis 2 for PC sold 57,316 copies. And number 7, the old standby, once again, Wii Sports for the Wii, selling 50,176 copies. And number 8, Pilot Wings Resort for the 3DS, selling 48,916 copies. And number 9, Nintendogs Plus Cats for the 3DS sold 46,666 copies. The number of the beast! Sorry about that. And at number 10, Lego Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars charts in for PlayStation 3, selling 45,843 copies. Kind of interesting how that worked out with Lego Star Wars. In America, the Wii version sold the best, and then after that was the DS, and then after that was the Xbox 360. Well, in Europe, the only one to chart was the PlayStation 3 version. Kind of weird how that worked out. Here's the console sales. In America, I unfortunately do not have 3DS sales figures yet, so sorry about that. So that's not included. I assume that the 3DS would be the #1 selling console in America because I've seen estimated figures out there. I don't have the exact figures, so I'm not going to include them. So not counting the 3DS, the #1 best-selling console in America was the Xbox 360, selling 97,514 units. The Wii sold 91,582 units. The DS, 84,266 units. PlayStation 3, 72,355 units. And the PSP, 31,303 units. In Japan, the king of the hill was the 3DS, selling 52,011 units. The PSP sold 49,489 units. The PlayStation 3, 27,761 units. The DS sold 20,711 units. The Wii sold 11,438 units. And the Xbox 360 sold 1,698 units. In Europe, I do have the 3DS number. The exact number of 3DSs sold in Europe was 346,021 units, making it by far the highest-selling console anywhere. Well, actually, it might have been in America, but definitely highest-selling console. After that was the PlayStation 3, for 78,189 units sold. The DS, 60,602 units sold. The Wii, 58,108 units sold. The Xbox 360, 49,928 units sold, and the PSP, 29,081 sold. So worldwide, it actually follows exactly like it was in Europe. The 3DS being king of the hill, followed by PS3, the DS, the Wii, the 360, and the PSP being the lowest selling console, except in Japan, but worldwide lowest. So, there you have it. That's our show for the week. We'll see you next week with more news, more questions and comments, maybe another guest. And, hey, maybe I can actually get it to be about an hour. We'll see what happens then. VMX out.